you.
I so
You sewed really hard.
I didn't realize time passed for a second there.
Hey everyone. So, real quick, wanted to talk about something that happened over the weekend because it was actually kind of meaningful to us. And then after this, we'll never talk about the bastard again for at least 3 months because unless something
If
really
we can
big
help
happens.
it. I mean, big things do tend to happen.
And
So
big streamers tend to big things. So over the weekend, a little known streamer, a very small scale streamer, named Ian, goes by the name of Voosh, did a stream where he talked about his thing he's calling the Fortress arc. And essentially what it was is his attempt to start sanitizing the community to figure out ways to get rid of toxicity and start pushing away a lot of the drama that's been happening lately. And I don't have anything to say specifically about his stuff. I do think overall this is a good turn for him because I do think he was getting bogged down by that stuff. But it does fit kind of what we've been doing, and I wanted to just talk about sort of the similarities between both of our trajectories and that one, because I think that there are definitely some things that we need to discuss as far as how does a community need to be? Or at least how do we want our community to be?
yeah.
You know, how do we deal with drama? How do we deal with stuff going on? And so I guess the first thing I would say is, as far as the toxicity stream, what were your thoughts on it?
My thoughts, at least, were that was probably the best way out. Like, at a certain point, you just can't respond to all the drama, and
Hi, psychic refugee.
sorry, a little zony here.
Yeah, it's okay. Continue.
Right, one of the things that we've been noting is how, like, Twitter and various algorithm functions and keeps feeding off of toxicity, and then, you know, that plays on people, and then people are now in the habit of being, you know, continually outraged, continually taking out that outrage, and being very vocal about it. And so this kind of feeds itself, and so there's a way that, like, you can't really get out of the drama except to just call a ceasefire and just peace out of it. That's all you can do sometimes. You know, because even if you do try to address it in some format, that doesn't mean that it will actually get addressed by others. Okay, at least not in a productive way or in a proportional way. All right, others may not be ready to hop on the, hey, let's actually figure out a way to heal from this and move on train. All right. So at least, you know, definitely that part for me was very much like, yeah, that's about what you got to do. And that's kind of what Jess and I have to balance as well. Like, there's times where we really respond to something, but also keeping it out of the hashtags is a good plan.
Yeah. So for me, I think the thing that stands out about me about the whole Fortress arc thing is that I think that, honestly, I don't have a particularly strong thing around the drama. It's been really tiring, but it hasn't really been particularly bad. I mean, I think everyone's had some issues, but it's been really hard to watch a streamer I genuinely think is a net good be treated really, really, really terribly by a number of people. And so I guess I find myself a little bit sad that it came to this, but on the other hand, I do think this is a really good opportunity, because what it's done is it's given Vosh the ability to address these things, put a freaking, you know, fork in them and call them done, and move on to other more important things. He brought up something during that stream that really stood out to me. He did a huge charity, that 24-hour Elden Ring stream that made a butt ton of money, just a spectacular amount of money. And it completely got missed because of J.K. Rowling. That was a net good from the left. Wasn't it like $300,000 or some shit? And the thing here is that we suck at taking our W's. I think this is something we really need to do is we need to, maybe this is the first rule for us, is start taking W's, letting yourself enjoy the wins and when things go well, right? it's not just about negative incentivization that is canceling or removing people who are negative, but allowing ourselves to take our W's and also give positive incentives. Governor Cox from Utah. If I believe the things that I see, I don't know where the rest of his politics are, but in this one regard, yeah, good for you. Standing to make sure trans kids live, I'll take it. It's not my favorite because there's probably better, but you know what? Good shit. Same thing with the W of, that huge amount of money Vosh has raised. Vosh has raised almost, $250,000, maybe more, with 3 streams for what? Planned Parenthood, Palestinian refugees, and what was the last one? Oh, it was Ukraine. These are positives. These are good things. And they get ignored. Why can't we reward people or give positive incentive for things that are happening? Dizzy said, yeah, there's a strong pressure not to support Vosh in any measure because he's persona non grata. Yeah, why do we have persona non grata again?
Yeah, why?
We're persona non grata.
I was going to say,
now.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Don't know if you know that, but there's a number of content creators who, were not super helpful in DMs about us being shit on, targeted, and attacked on a stance. Rather than hearing us out and trying to understand the stance, I got disparaging remarks in my DMs.
Oh, and they all went to this one instead of, me or both of us, because, by the way, let's just keep ignoring Zena. Yeah, great plan.
Yeah. I kind of get at a very small level what he goes through. I mean, not anywhere the scale, but definitely seeing the, man, why is this person in my DM telling me I'm fucking over my community? My community is fine. What do we do? What?
Yeah, also, we're both here. We're both in this together.
The transmasculine visibility is real.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of the issues that I've been seeing with trans stuff, though, could be solved with a lot of positivity, right? This whole, trans femme, trans mass stuff and, harassing each other. I hear stories occasionally, and I'm like, and we had this argument with somebody not too long ago, but, no, in our community, we make space for everyone, and we absolutely can do that. We can have space for people to talk about the stuff that they're dealing with on the trans mass stuff, or the non-binary stuff, or the xenogender stuff, or the trans femme side of things. We can make space for every single person to be able to talk about that. In fact, our channels for transmasc and trans femme actually share people. I comment in both of those. So does Jess, because we know that it's sometimes somebody from the other perspective still has a lot of helpful stuff. And if there's ever a point where maybe the numbers aren't as big in one of those channels, we still want to make sure that those people are getting support and getting heard and, are getting responses back, because we don't want them to be lonely either, right? So we absolutely can be more positive about stuff and make space for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I was being a bad girl and looking at YouTube chat, but I do think Walter Gonzalez, before the comment got deleted, because obviously the word could trip up the Nightbot, can we stop accusing people of being pedos? Walter Gonzalez said basically, don't the pedo accusations cling to Vosh like a tick. New rule in our community: you don't get to make that accusation unless you have actual data. I don't care if they own anime statues. I own anime statues. I don't care what they read. I don't give a fuck. If you're going to throw out that claim that could damage a person forever, y'all need to fucking tell me how. Because if your argument is, well, I can't actually argue with your point, so I'm just going to call you the most worst thing I can think of. That's what it is. Pedo jacketing is infuriating. It's bad. It's a bad thing to do.
Also, you have to actually report real, actual situations and not fucking waste time on fabricated bullshit to create more harm.
It's like I got shit because there was a certain person that used to be in our community, and the joke was, I'm sitting there going, well, one, I trust this person, but two, the joke being is that I'm a mandated reporter. If somebody did something in our Discord server, not just me, but Wednesday, Beyond Safe Words, and a number of other clinicians would have to immediately report. There's no bias there. We can't not do it. It's licensure going away time if we let harm happen.
Absolutely. And it doesn't matter if it's on the internet. No, you still have to report.
Yeah.
I've been trying to explain this so many times.
But no, I'm not taking care of my community. Go fuck yourselves. Here's the thing. I need I need us to really be thoughtful about this stuff. This toxicity shit is really bad. These weird tendencies the online left has developed, these bizarre habits, calling everyone we don't like a pedo, calling, lashing out at everybody, conflating harm and offense like we just talked about. The ways in which we will justify actions that are just unthinkably bad because they fit into our narrative or justify what we want. And then we'll use these as drama points. Like, the issue here is this is not about trying to simp for Vosh or any other person. This is, like, I think people can read, is these are reactionary tendencies. And they're reactionary in the sense, not because reactionary conflate with right. I mean reactionary in the sense, if you've actually been paying attention to the Zen videos, you're reacting. You're going to learn this when we go through this on Sunday, but in the Zen videos, what we're going to talk about is the nature of emotion from that perspective. And one of the important things about that is emotions are just information.
Mm-hmm.
And when they come up, and because the information is too much, or because we feel like the emotion is too complex, what we end up doing is we then go into a reaction to abort the emotion. So instead of dealing with the fear we have, we lash out with violence. Instead of actually taking it on the chin and dealing with our vulnerability and our mistakes, we instead shame ourselves or other people. This reactionary tendencies are because people are emotionally immature. You have people giving very complex political discourse who have done no personal work.
Yep.
Am I perfect? No, I was having triggers the other night because I'm severely traumatized. But the difference being is that I've also done around like a decade of fucking like personal growth in the form of therapy, including Gestalt, group work, individual therapy. Hell, my therapist is literally one of the freaking professors of one of the universities here.
Mm-hmm.
I've also done over a decade of fucking Zen in an order that is modernized and includes psychology and does specific work with emotions. And I still fuck up. Where are y'all at? The world, the world is not responsible to ban all your triggers. The world is not responsible to respond to all your triggers. Sometimes you got to deal with your shit, and sometimes your shit is just your shit. Sometimes people are going to get triggered. It doesn't mean to cancel them.
Yeah.
If they do something really awful, I guess, but
you got to get to a certain level of awful, okay, at that point.
Like, we've had trans women in various circumstances on Twitter who have been accused of really horrific shit, but horrific shit that is limited. And being compared to Cosby? You think that might be an overestimation of harm? A girl gets an accusation, and rather than taking innocent until proven guilty and, taking care of the victim and dealing with these issues in complex and meaningful ways, instead what you do is you compare that person, the accused, to Bill Cosby, and you've judged him guilty before anything's even happened. What? We are traumatizing one another over and over and over and over again. Tiamat said from YouTube chat, Denial Egypt.
Denial Egypt, anyone that works with kids is a mandated reporter. Like, all of those people are teachers, school lunch ladies, or lunch non-binaries and men. All right. All the lunch people, everyone that works with youth, even if you're working at like a daycare for like Sundays somewhere, okay, you're a mandated reporter. Now, clinicians, people in, the various helping professions get a lot more training about how to do that specifically and what cases are, where the lines are for where they're required to report versus where they need to hold client confidentiality. But no, this is a thing that's across the US, okay? Like, it just so happens that our server has a lot of professionals in it, and we value those people. So
to give you guys an understanding, because I think we've talked about this on the channel before, but we don't talk about it all the time. What is a mandated reporter? What it refers to is the idea that by law, I am legally reported to report anything that looks like or is suspicious towards abuse. Now, what that means is that doesn't mean I have to have proof. That doesn't mean that I have to have irrefutable evidence. It means I have to have a suspicion. And you're damn sure I've exercised that numerous times. I will always default to calling the state. I actually got fired from my internship, my first one, because I wanted to call CPS and they wouldn't let me. That person is no longer affiliated with my university because I called them out. Because they were trying to hide a CPS call. Define abuse in that situation, I will not. If you're talking about in other circumstances, let me know which one you're talking about. So the types of abuse in order: physical, mental, emotional, sexual. Yeah. Any types. Neglect.
Yep. Doesn't matter what age. It could be...
Anyone under the age of 18 immediately has to be a report to CPS. If it's someone who's a dependent adult, say a disabled person or an elder, it goes to APS.
Yep.
And I don't get a choice on it. Doesn't matter who they are. Basically, I am legally compelled. I was told this the day I entered my counseling program. From this day forward, you are a mandated reporter, which means you are legally obligated to contact the authorities if something looks fucking off. And there have been times where I didn't think anything was happening, but because I couldn't specifically say or prove that that was the case, I still had to report. It's not just good on you. It's actually a difficult situation, because there are times when you know a parent's doing the best they can and situations are complex, and sometimes you still have to report. It's not all just being the good guys. This shit's hard. But if someone in our server was doing something and we found out about it, I don't get a choice. Because at that point, I have to contact Discord, because now it's affecting the community, and they then have to contact whatever states are involved. This isn't just me either. Beyond Safe Words is in our server, up to Keter level.
Okay, Mixed,
I hate to be a bother, but what makes a disabled adult dependent? Only in the cases where they would be a dependent, such as a disabled adult, say with an intellectual disability or a developmental disability. Someone who is disabled in that sense, where they say are on SSDI or whatnot. A person in that circumstance,
if you are not your own guardian.
Yeah, if you are not your own legal guardian, if you are... I've actually had to be part of these guardianship hearings. They're not fun. Back when I worked for CMH. But yeah, the thing that happens with those is basically if you're someone who's, say, unable to take care of yourself, say you're so severely mentally ill that you can't put on clothes properly, you actually have to have help. You have to be in like an adult foster care facility. Well, let's say I go into as a case manager and have to make sure the adult foster care facility isn't abusing the people. And then I suddenly find out that one of the, workers there is hitting people when no one's looking. I then have to contact APS. Right? Disabled in this context, again, intellectual, developmental. This also includes people who deal with severe bipolar 1 or schizophrenia. Schizoaffective disorder. There was an awful situation I was dealing with back in CMH where we had a gentleman who was this incredibly...
It's kind of...
No, I'm telling my story.
No, tell your story, but let's kind of,
situations where someone is an adult by definition, but in the case I'm thinking of, there was one gentleman, very lovely, such a sweetheart, huge African-American gentleman, but because of very real severe trauma in childhood, like this person would just go in cutting fits, and it really sucked. It was really awful. And because of that, this person could not be on their own. I mean, literally not on their own. Because even just the dark would trigger flashbacks. Like, in those situations, that person may not be their guardian because they may not be able to make thoughtful statements about what's going on, because they may not even be attached to reality, depending how, if they're in like a full, if they're showing, exceedingly high schizophrenic symptoms. This stuff is hard. It's real hard. And coming back to what we're talking about, this is the thing that we think about is how do we protect the people in our server? How do we protect the people in our community? How do we deal with this? So like another rule that I would put out there is demonstrate the harm. What is it actually you're pointing at? Another good rule of this would be is don't attack the person, attack the argument.
Mm-hmm.
I can call an argument dumb all day, but calling other people dumb? Probably not. Another really good example about this is look for data. And when you look for data, look for confounding data, things that are going to confuse you. And again, we said this in the video about harm versus offense. Interrogate your goals. Why are you wanting this? Is it just because you're feeling super zealous and feel like this is the really good thing to do and you must do it right now? That shit should be looked at because that's fucking awful. That feeling you get when you're on Twitter and you really want to slam somebody and it feels really good and that outrage is right there and you got a dunk, that shit shouldn't be trusted. The occasional dunk, fine, get it as a treat. But when you have that viciousness to you, and you know the people I'm talking about, guess what? You have botched anything you do after that. Right? These are just some examples.
Yeah, I think one of the big ones for me is be willing to work on the situation, right? Like actually be willing to talk things out with people. If you need to take a break and come back, cool. But if something does happen, right, know when to walk away and be willing to be like, hey, can we talk this out later, right? I think that's one of the big ones is actually be willing to work through the conflict and work to some kind of resolution. Those skills and those situations can lead to a lot stronger community that can actually handle shit, right? It can lead to you having a much, much, stronger relationship with the people around you because now you guys actually know that you can handle something. You actually have language for working something out. Mm-hmm. And some of it. Also, praise the good. Like, seriously, praise the good things.
Huge one on that, yeah.
That is my big thing. Like, if I want people to do something, like, no, I give them gold stars, okay? There's a few people with gold star on the server. And, sometimes they get it for showing up with really good data. Things like standing up to something and, making well thought out arguments for something or just being, like, really cool in the community and using our social roles that they can ping on. Right? Like praising the good is huge. Actually celebrating the positive things. No, you need that. I know it's hard to take positive stuff about yourself sometimes, but we absolutely need it. It gives us a good direction to go to, right? It lets us know what we're doing right and how we can improve and what things we're good at because we can't just focus on the negative all the time. It hurts.
Yeah. Another rule that I would put down for this, another thing to take down is kind of this directionality we're talking about. Mm-hmm. One of the beliefs I hold, one of the experiences I have on a day-to-day basis is the understanding that I can't know anyone. Because I can never be in their interiority. People have tried arguing on this with me, and they have failed. I've had people tell me that's solipsistic. That's not what solipsism means. You're an idiot. It doesn't mean your argument's wrong. Your argument is wrong, and you're an idiot. Thus, it's not an ad hominem. If I said you're an idiot and thus your argument was wrong, that would be an ad hominem. Moving on. The point is that by not knowing anyone, to some degree, I can sit in a place where when I deal with people, I can try to be as fair to them as humanly possible. But when you get into a place where you don't have that, you start to project and you start to create relationships where there aren't any. This is what parasocial relationships are in a nutshell. Every single person here has a parasocial relationship with content creators, positive or negative. There are ones you like and there are ones you dislike. And I know Mixed Dizzy's going to love this. And those exist on spectrums. Spectra. Tiamat corrected earlier. But on those spectra, there's a very clear thing of level to which that parasocial relationship affects your view. I think many people have parasocial relationships to a lot of the anarchists in the left because they let them get away with weird murder and it's strange. I think that there are people who are incredibly negatively parasocial towards Vosh. There's a number of people who I actually thought really were cool and I actually really liked talking to on Twitter who have since blocked and I think declared that I was a rape apologist because I took a stance on a particular situation. Those folks now have a negative parasocial because I can still look up through a browser window that they're still talking shit about me.
And they forgot that I exist and, you know, share this stuff. So here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. No, seriously. Like, this is the thing. People act like because I have a take you don't like means that I've betrayed you. I mean, I like some of you. I've had conversation with you. But, guys, I don't know half of you. And here's the thing. Here's the fucking frustrating thing about this, too. If you're in Euclid, if you're in our Discord and you've been approved for Euclid, you know for a fucking fact we're accessible. We make a point of connecting with our community. We make a point of being in voice call. I don't see other people doing that. I never see anyone in any of their Discords. I know I have mods in Xander Halls, in Voshes, in DMs, in Does. I have eyes everywhere. And all of those eyes tell me that these people are rarely ever in Discord calls, at least ones we can't see, at least ones we can see. It's a lot of their community doing that. But me and Zena, every goddamn night, we're in there hanging out with our friends, talking shit.
It is not just Jess that is the boss here. Please.
Big Jess's watch. It's actually Big Zena. I'm just loud. I'm just the charismatic one who is sitting there saying the thing on the stage. Well, Zena is behind the stage controlling the little like puppety things with machines.
I'm the one that goes, Jess, we're doing away tactics this week. Thank you. That's what we need to do this time.
Yeah, no, it's Big Zena watching you. You guys don't know. See, the fact that you think it's me, you've fallen for it. You've fallen for the ruse.
I'm the one that actually goes, no, tactics are a thing. Yes, tactics are a thing.
You've fallen for the ruse. So... we don't talk about the Zena behind the curtain. That's true. But
no, I mean it's yeah, it is a weird one. Jess and I do like to figure out that bridge and that line, you know, as much as possible, and we do like to be accessible, and it comes at a cost. It does.
Well, and obviously we know for a fact that a lot of the people in Discord, some of them may not ever get approved for Euclid. Euclid approval requires people to be grown-ups, and some people aren't. That's okay. Maybe later. But the thing here is that the people that get into Euclid, we are interactable. As long as you behave yourself and you follow our rules, you can have conversations directly with us. Not necessarily every time. Sometimes we might close the chat because there's too many fucking people. But the reality is that what we try to do in these circumstances is we attempt to be accessible to people, because our feeling is if there are key members in the community who are engaging, then they don't have a parasocial relationship. Like, our mods are not like just fans who decided to join in. They were initially, but I'll be really honest, like, all of our mods are our friends. Tiamat is someone I talk to often.
Right.
Kira is someone that I interact with day-to-day basis. Thanagor is someone who I get to see cute pictures of his baby. Patricia just went through a tragedy, and guess what? I was up at 5 a.m. with Zena helping them deal with it because they live in fucking Europe's. Goddamn. Seriously, like, we want those kinds of connections, and there are people that join all the time and interact, and they do what they're going to do, and there's the regulars, and there's people who come in. The reason why we do this is because we want to break those parasocial relationships where we can. We can't do them all. There's no way we can know all of you. My brain can only hold so many people.
That's true.
And then we got Goen in Euclid, who's just easy clap. The reason why we do that is because we want to deal with this stuff. Parasocial relationships are a projection. You're projecting a relationship with a person you don't have. Philosophy Tube doesn't fucking know who you are. I don't care if she liked your tweet. I don't remember tweets I've liked 20 minutes ago. Do you think she remembers one from 3 months, 4 months, 8 months? The only reason Vosh knows my name is because I annoyed him for 8 months. Seriously. Who do you think he was arguing with during the xenogender thing? It was me and Chat being a bitch. Go back. He says, yeah, Jess of TGT. Yeah, he's literally arguing with me. Because I pestered the shit out of him with donos. Hey, share this video with people. $10. Here.
This dog is very good at pestering, by the way. Just saying.
Still haven't got that blue name, by the way. By the way, if you're a Voshite, tell him I need that fucking blue name. But understand this, guys. Like, he calls you Jesse. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with it.
You know, there's only like one other kid that calls you Jesse. There's only like one other babu.
I miss that kid. Anyway,
well, we'll have to reach out.
But here's the thing: is like, but the reason why is that happened is because I would annoy them. I would follow them. I would try to actively annoy people to get them to follow me on Twitter. It's what I did to Demon Mama, who doesn't follow me now for various reasons. But it's what also happened with, you know, Vosh eventually followed us, which is cool. There's a number of people. And why did this happen? Because the simple fact is, because I wanted to be seen. I didn't say shitty things. I just tried to not be a dick and actually tried to give good talking points, and it worked. And so Twitter became a space where we were welcome, at least for a while, until, you know, you give a take people don't like. Mm-hmm. The point I'm making here is that, other than just vaguely kvetching about something, is that there is a way in which, even though I do make jokes about senpai noticed me or people say those things, they don't fucking know me. I'm not friends with DM and behind scenes. I'm just not. I've had a couple DMs back and forth with her, but that's about it. Guess what? I'm not friends with Doe. Doe and I have messaged a few times, and then I got some really mad stuff at me recently, and then that was it. I'm not friends with these people. I don't have Vosh on DMs or fucking Twitter to texts. I don't talk to anybody. Like, there are a number of trans women that are in the fucking DMs for that goddamn Twitter account who I tried to reach out to for some level of interaction support when shit went real and we had to lock down. And guess what? Yeah, I don't know. I still appreciate those people. I appreciate the work they do, but there is not that personal relationship, and I remind myself of that daily. These people are not my fucking friends. They're allies politically, potentially. But they're not my friends. I have friends outside of this shit. Our mods are also our friends. We talk about what's going on with them. We understand what's going on with their lives. We interact with those. But the fact is that, like, we have friends outside of this too. Thank God. But other content creators, no. Like, you have to remember that even for someone in our position, and granted, we're a tiny-ass channel, we don't really have those kinds of connections. We've annoyed people enough or forced ourselves enough into situations to try to do it. That's what we did with the Doe situation. No one really knew who the fuck we were, but come in there, buy some subs, and immediately push for as much as interaction as possible. You can make something like a friendship. But the problem with the online left is this: friendships and connections are disposable. Seriously. We treat each other like shit on the online left. We treat people like they're disposable. They're useful when they're a political situation, or useful as a victim we can hold up to make a point.
But a way to get more clicks and another video in.
But we ally with people, you know, we see people out there who ally with someone like Destiny because they want clout, only to backfire and fucking make them look morally irrelevant. The social club is gross, and the way that this works is that people will turn on you. Your favorite content creators, every single one of them has done some dumb shit. This idea that you keep walking around with, where we're going to defend them to the nth, they don't need your defense. I don't need your defense. On a personal level, I'd like people to defend me. It'd be really great, but you don't need to. You don't know me. You like our videos. But these are the types of rules and things that we want to do. Because we want you guys to understand that, like, our goal is to have the puppy's not lonely, the puppy's whiny. There's a difference. The goal here is to be as absolutely transparent about what our goals and what our ways of dealing with this. So while Vosh is doing his Fortress arc, I don't know what we'd call our arc. All I can say is that this current directionality we're in...
calling it an island?
Yeah, call it the island arc. I mean, Rachel, we cash in on infighting drama, but we try to actually make good mental health points and prescriptions about those drama.
That's true. And that is the big thing, right? We try to figure out what we bring into a situation, right? Like with the stuff with Kat. Could we talk about misogyny? Sure, but everybody probably knows about that. But how to actually define various online abuse and various types of harassment? No, that's where we saw a lack. So what did we do? That's what we gave our take on. That's what we showed up with research for, right? Jess and I were going through umpteen different definitions and kind of going, okay, well, what actually fits our situation, right? That's what we went through. So, you know, it's hard though, right? Because I'd rather not be in the drama. I'd rather not talk about other people, but that's also the way to get people looking at our channel, looking at the stream, right? And so we just kind of hope that eventually you'll make it to the other videos, because I have takes about queer stuff. I want to do a vlog more often, and I really like that it started thinking series. That was really fucking good, and people keep running into those issues all the time, and we keep telling them to go watch it, and I wish those videos would get big. I really, really do. They're way more personal than, like, your big psych YouTuber. Okay, they're way more personal than that stuff, so... Yeah,
like, to be really super clear on this stuff, we hear you. I love you. Stop it. Yeah, I guess Island Arc works, because here's the thing is, understand the drama pool. The reason why we do drama videos, why we do discourse, is because usually two criteria have to be met. One, it has to be something we care about, and something that we can use as a springboard into a larger topic. If you go through every discourse video, all of those have a point to them that goes outside just the dunks and the nonsense. I'll give you an example. The Lily Orchard video. I don't go back and forth on that one anymore. I'm just glad it fucking happened. She's awful. But the fact of the matter is that the reason why that was made wasn't just a dunk on Lily because she was being an idiot and lying. The point of that was really simple. It was that Lily was saying things that were professionally damaging. Claiming that I made a diagnosis about a woman I've never fucking met in another country is so ass backwards from a mental health perspective. I can't diagnose at distance. I can't diagnose people that aren't my clients. And spoiler alert, my license only works in so many states because counselors suck at lobbying. I don't make those kinds of statements. You find on this channel when I've ever diagnosed anyone, you won't, because I don't. And for someone to go, oh, well, you know, you made these things. No, I didn't. You don't know how many comments we've had to delete of Lily fans going, well, you tried to diagnose her with... I didn't diagnose her with shit. I don't know the woman. I think she's a bitch. I diagnosed you with editor. That's true. It's chronic. But that's the thing. Like, I love you. Stop it.
Like, this is life with the Pibble, okay?
This is literally 11 o'clock every night. Just boop.
Yeah.
My point with this is that we don't do this stuff just to drama bait. We do it because we want to teach you guys how things work in the world as we see them. We want to teach you how things function. We want to give you stuff as much information as possible.
Well, and I think we do want to show up as much as we can in the spaces, right? Like, to the degree that we can, we do like showing up. We do like being ourselves and actually having a place to talk about the stuff that we deal with, because Jess and I both deal with a pretty unique set of stuff.
It's true.
Right?
Ashmar, you said, I do have the tiniest bit of sympathy for Lily because she's been a target of KF. I mean, we've been showing up on KF too, so yeah. Because a bunch of people decided to do an investigation that ended up, yeah.
There's a reason we don't do certain things, and it's because KF likes to, get involved, and that's worse than anything we could have done.
Correct. There's reasons why certain types of content, like why there's never been another Lily Orchard video, despite the fact that she will not keep my name out of her mouth, or at least wouldn't for 6 months after that video. The reason is because we got wind of the fact that KF was there, and guess what? Thank you, Walter Gonzalez. I appreciate that. We do try to bring bigger points. But that's the thing is, we do use these as a lure. I'm sorry, that's what's happening. You guys come to the drama videos because you're curious about takes, and you're hoping our takes will be similar to the ones you already have, or you haven't made a decision about a thing and you're hoping to get a perspective. And then the hope is that you'll click on another fucking video. The anglerfish of mental health. True. Someone draw that for the love of Christ.
Absolutely.
So, I want you guys to understand that this stuff is important. Do you know how many people found, like, I can't even count them on my hand. How many times we've heard the story? How many people came to Vosh because they watched his Lily Orchard video? Because they disliked Lily because of Lily's previous really shitty behavior. And then what happened is they found Vosh's video, and that was one of their introductions to the online left. We're not trying to be dishonest about what we're doing here. That's the grit. I was gonna say that's the grip, but that's kind of the game, right? Not really a grift. I'm not really lying about anything. I'm really this bombastic and asshole-ish in real life too. Ask anyone that's been in a thing for me.
Just as absolutely stubborn in real life.
There's no difference. This is me all the time.
This is true. It's super true.
But that's the game, right? We put out drama videos because we care about those topics. We pull you in and hope that you'll actually learn stuff that'll be helpful. Yeah. The simple fact is that we're not trying to make a hate channel. We're not trying to make a channel that's all about getting the dunks. We're not trying to do all this stuff. What we're trying to do is trying to make the online left better. Because I believe if we can actually mobilize people, if we can actually do things, Zena and I think we can actually really do good in the world. Vosh is doing it with his massive streams.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I'm going to be honest, like, I can't be out door knocking or canvassing anymore. Like, that's not physically an option for me.
Oh, no, many people did come here through Jessie Gender. That's true. She donated at the beginning of the stream, actually. She still watches our content, apparently.
Yeah.
Hi, Jessie, if you're watching. Jessie Gender's base. I like her stuff.
No, I really like when people see our videos and go, wait, I actually found a therapist because of you guys. Like, that's huge.
That shit matters.
Like, the fact that we had that big of an impact on somebody and they got, like, that much out of our video that they actually could start doing personal work with a therapist, like, that's amazing.
And what questions to ask, and to look for a therapist, like, actually who meets their political needs, too. Mm-hmm. One of the things that video, if you haven't watched it, you get to ask your therapist who they voted for. Do it.
Yep.
Yeah, the Shrek hottie. Yeah. Like, the thing is we're not opposed to making connections to people on the online left, but we want people to be better. And when people go to a certain point, we disconnect from them because they've crossed into lines that we can't do anymore. There are a number of content creators that you guys don't know about behind the scenes that we're just not going to interact with anymore, because the fact is that they have behaved in incredibly toxic ways.
And the recourse that's left to us is just making the boundary of no, will not interact. That is left to us, right?
The goal of this discussion is to point out how we can also address toxicity, not just in our community, but the community.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're not that big. We got like 500 plus people on our server. We're not a big chunk of the online left. But we need to keep these things in mind. How does our behavior improve or negatively impact our goals?
Mm-hmm.
Where is our reactivity and our triggers that we need to address them? How can we behave and act in a way that is going to best serve our political goals and to foster the largest amount of people towards those goals? This shit matters.
It does. And we absolutely know that what we do carries into our own community, and how our community act carries out into other places, right? It's definitely a thing.
Porpoise power, black and white thinking is a distorted thinking. You should watch that series. We gotta make a nuance bang.
That's the thing that I keep saying, right?
Yeah, remind me to make that one. So with that said, I think that we've ranted about this long enough. Honestly, I don't understand making the online life better because it seems that there are different conceptions of leftism, and one of them is very Tumblr-esque towards making things better.
What does Tumblr-esque mean?
I got that covered.
Okay.
Yeah, as far as the Tumblr-esque stuff, the stuff that you would sort of normally phrase... Yeah, I'm in YouTube chat again. Sorry, T-Matt. Tumblr-esque, in my understanding, and tell me if I'm wrong, Egypt, is that it is referring to the sort of woke scoldy individuals, the people who are doing things like... I'll give an example, like your Essence of Thoughts, your Levies, your Lily Orchards. Weirdly enough, those people dislike, two of those people dislike the other one. It's weird. They're all insipid.
But even if there are different concepts of the online left, I like ours. I like the values that we hold.
So making the online left better, what I mean is that I think that we need to move to a place where, I'm not saying unity. Unity's stupid. It's never going to fucking happen. What I want to happen is I would like it to be able to do ceasefire to some degree so that we can move towards a genuine movement. Yeah, if you go back in our work, Dizzy, Levy basically said that I was supporting Lily's abuse of some situation that Essence of Thought covered. And then when I told them that our video came out 5 days or 10 days before the Essence of Thought video, they then basically whitewashed the situation and said, oh, well, you're still doing something wrong. And basically we're super like toxic. It's year-old drama. But the reality is that, yeah, no, my interactions with a Levy called Bird is not lovely.
So Danielle Egypt, you say they, and I find they to be very general and way too large and vague. All right. When I see people, I see a lot of individuals. And that is the thing, is that, one, we're still small, so we can still very much look at things that way. And so, yes, there are certain people that don't seem to want to take accountability from what I can tell from my end. Yes. Okay. Do I know what's necessarily going on with them in their personal day-to-day life? No. Maybe they are, searching for something or hurt or need some help. I have no idea. So I can't make judgments there.
Well, let me add this one real quick too, is the idea that also what is accountability and when has someone taken enough accountability? This is this gets ignored.
Oh, absolutely. That's a massive, massive concept. So do I think we absolutely have a space to start working on educating people on that, start talking about these things, having, takes that are backed by mental health and actual research? Yes, that is where we come in. And just because some people struggle doesn't mean that everybody does. Yes, some content creators struggle, but how many people are watching us? A lot, right? There's 88 views right now. Okay.
Like the video, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And so each individual person watching can take this stuff with them into their day-to-day life. They can take this information with them to other streamers, to other communities, to their family, right? To their parents and siblings, right? To whatever community like classes or universities that they go to. They take this stuff with them. So it's never just they as a whole. It's a whole bunch of individuals being interconnected.
Well, and it's one of the reasons why I think we need to be really clear about how we interact with this, because if we're talking about the online left as a whole, like, the problem is that we're not talking about one phenomenon, then we're talking about numerous ones that all have to be addressed in different ways. Like, my big issue is that, if we want to address certain things, we're going to have to pick and choose. You cannot exalt all values simultaneously. You have to pick and choose which value. With the Vosh misogyny stuff, I just don't care about performative ironic acts of silliness, because honestly, I got bigger fish to fry. It's the same reason why I make the takes that I do about things such as, like, God, I'm trying to think of a good example, but like, why I generally don't care about the weird shit in fucking anime. Do I know if that stuff's doing demonstrable harm? As far as I can tell, the answer is no, with a large asterisk. But the reality is I can't know, and I haven't been able to figure out. So basically what I do is I look at the stuff that's weird as weird. I look at people who really enjoy that stuff as weird, and I move the fuck on, because liking anime is not the same thing as actually hurting someone.
Yep.
Why? Why do we have to exclaim everything as being the same level of harm? Why is there no spectra? Why? Anyway, we've rambled about this long as because we're tired. The reality of this is that Zena and I really care about this community.
We absolutely do. We want to show up when we can, and we also want people to do the best they can to, you know, take care of themselves, keep going on, take care of each other when that's possible. You know? That's the big thing.
Yeah. Here's the thing. We really do care about this community, and we care about the people in it. And I know some of our arguments might be weird or different or not necessarily the same thing as other people, but I want you guys to understand that this stuff matters, and the reason we're here is because we care. Yeah, there's money involved. Yeah, there are ways in which we are... You know, my hope is that this channel can sustain us in ways because Zena can't work. Right? There are ways in which I'm going to be really honest about the fact that this has other aspects to it, but I started this because I care. Zena and I got involved in this because we care. We kept it going because we give a shit. So, you know, please understand that our goal is to be as direct and clear as possible. With that said, I think we're going to end this here.
Yeah.
And I want you guys to understand that this is the beginning ramblings, the first thoughts, maybe the second thoughts of our directionality for the channel and what we want. We'll
keep looking forward to the series on harm and offense. And Beyond Safe Words has some really awesome ideas for input on that too, so we will definitely be getting with her.
And yeah, we're going to end this segment here, but we will see you in the next one. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Also, consider donating to us. You can support us on our website, transgirltherapist.org. You can also help us on our Patreon, link below, or you can become a member here on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching.